The arrival of your first baby is always a memorable moment, but the birth of this little boy was truly extraordinary. Everything seemed typical, until the moment he entered the world. However, when his father pulled out his cell phone to capture a precious picture of his newborn, he noticed something inexplicable and strange. The sun shone into the cozy house on Elm Street. It had a white fence and a neat garden, showing the dreams of the people who lived there. Mark and Rebecca, a loving couple, lived in this house and were happy with their life for now. Mark was a tall man with brown hair who worked as a software engineer. He had a charming smile that won Rebecca's heart. Rebecca was a small woman with red-brown hair and hazel eyes full of life. She was a teacher and loved children. They met in college, fell in love, and decided to build a life together. After college, they both found jobs and got married. They bought a small house in the suburbs, promising to fill it with love, laughter, and eventually children. They both wanted children. Rebecca had always dreamed of being a mother, feeling a strong desire for it. Mark also shared this dream and couldn't wait to be a father. But their journey to parenthood would take an unexpected turn. They prioritized a stable home for their future child and worked hard to achieve it, saving diligently. They prepared a room with soft colors, tiny furniture, and a crib in anticipation of the baby's arrival. When they found out about Rebecca's pregnancy, they were ecstatic, feeling their fairy tale come true. Mark vividly remembered the joy of seeing the positive pregnancy test and immediately shared the news. They eagerly attended prenatal classes, read parenting books, and discussed baby names. Mark grew increasingly fascinated with the miracle of life, bonding with their unborn child by talking and singing to Rebecca's growing belly. Their first ultrasound appointment marked a significant milestone. Mark felt a mix of excitement and anxiety as they awaited the chance to glimpse their baby. In the ultrasound room, their hearts swelled with happiness as they saw their baby's heartbeat and features. Relieved to hear that Rebecca was 12 weeks along, Mark felt their journey into parenthood truly begin. They shared the news joyfully with family and friends, eagerly anticipating the arrival of their baby boy. It was a happy time as Rebecca, glowing with her big belly, and Mark, smiling, received gifts for their soon-to-arrive baby. They had prepared the nursery and were eagerly waiting for their son to be born. When Rebecca's water broke, they hurried to the hospital, excited to meet their son, but Mark felt a small tremor, sensing something unexpected. In the hospital, as they went to the labor ward, Mark realized their lives were about to change in ways they couldn't predict. In the labor ward, Rebecca showed strength during contractions, with Mark supporting her. As time passed, they became more excited. Finally, Rebecca was moved to the delivery room. As they got closer to meeting their son, Mark held her hand, whispering words of love and encouragement, feeling his heart beat fast. The delivery room was busy. Nurses moved around confidently, their faces covered but their eyes kind. The doctor was calm, guiding Rebecca through each contraction. Time seemed strange. The pain was strong, but Rebecca held on, thinking about holding her baby. Mark was there for her, his voice steady in the chaos. And then, after what felt like an eternity, their baby's cries filled the room. It was the most beautiful sound they had ever heard. A rush of relief and joy washed over them. They had done it. Their son was here. The doctor quickly cleaned and swaddled the baby, then handed him to Rebecca. She held him close, her eyes brimming with tears of joy. Mark watched the scene, his heart filled with an indescribable emotion. He felt a lump in his throat as he watched Rebecca cradle their son. He had never seen a sight more beautiful. With trembling hands, Mark reached for his camera. He wanted to capture this moment, the first moment of their son's life. He snapped a picture of Rebecca and their baby, their faces glowing with pure love. He then turned the camera towards himself and the baby, wanting to capture his own first moment as a father. As he looked at the screen to review the pictures, his heart skipped a beat. He looked at the baby, then back at the screen, his mind struggling to process what he was seeing. There was something strange in the picture, something he couldn't quite place. His eyes widened as he stared at the image. The joy of the moment was momentarily forgotten as a sense of bewilderment took over. The strange thing in the picture was about their baby, but what was it? What was so strange that it could steal away the joy of this moment? Mark looked at his son again, his heart pounding in his chest. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. As he looked at the photo, the world around him seemed to blur into the background. His mind was filled with questions he couldn't yet answer. The joyous moment of birth had taken an unexpected turn. What was supposed to be a moment of unadulterated joy was now fraught with confusion. Mark stared at the image on the screen, a cold shiver running down his spine. He looked again at his newborn son, his mind a whirl of confusion. In the picture, his son's eyes were glowing a bright, vivid green, not the usual newborn blue or brown, but a color so profound that it seemed to shine from the screen. It seemed almost cartoonishly unnatural. He quickly looked at his son again. His eyes were closed, his tiny face a picture of peaceful sleep. Mark held his breath as he gently touched the baby's cheek, prompting him to open his eyes again so he could take a look. As the little eyelids fluttered open, Mark was taken aback. His son's eyes were indeed a bright, vivid green, just like the picture. He quickly called the doctor over, his voice shaky. The doctor, a seasoned professional, looked at the picture and then at the baby. He took a moment, his brow furrowed in concentration. He then turned to Mark with a gentle smile. "Well, this is quite rare," he began, his voice steady. "Your son has something called heterochromia. It's completely harmless. It simply means he has different and more intensely colored eyes than most people. It's quite unique, actually. It makes him all the more special." Mark let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. He looked down at his son, his heart swelling with love. His son was indeed special. In the months that followed, Mark and Rebecca found out just how unique their son was. Ethan, he was a bundle of joy. He was an alert baby, always looking around with his bright green eyes, taking in his surroundings. His laughter was infectious and his curiosity knew no bounds. Ethan was an early crawler and an even earlier walker. At 8 months, he was a quick learner, picking up words faster than any baby they knew. It wasn't long before he was forming sentences, his speech clear and articulate. Rebecca and Mark watched in awe as their son continued to astound them with his rapid development. Ethan's uniqueness wasn't just in his physical traits, he was empathetic beyond his years, always aware of the emotions of those around him. He would crawl into the laps of his parents when they were upset, his tiny hands patting their cheeks in an attempt to comfort them. He was very good at noticing things that many adults wouldn't, like how the wind moved the leaves or the pattern of bird sounds. He seemed to really understand nature. Often, they find him staring out the window, watching birds and trees with amazement. Ethan's bright green eyes showed his feelings, his parents said. They were full of love, curiosity, and a kind of innocence that made Rebecca and Mark feel warm inside. They knew their son was special, not just because of his unique eyes, but because he had an extraordinary personality. As Ethan grew older, he continued to surprise and impress his parents. He was like a ray of sunshine, his laughter making their home feel happy and loving. He was a precious gift that they loved more than anything else. And what they loved most was looking into his bright green eyes. Ethan was a miracle, their amazing special boy. When Mark held Ethan and looked into his bright green eyes filled with pure love, he felt blessed. He knew his son was special in many ways. Ethan's specialness even caught the attention of a top modeling agency. At just 4 years old, his bright green eyes and charming personality appeared in magazines and TV ads around the world. He became the face of big brands, capturing the hearts of millions with his captivating eyes. His pictures were everywhere, his innocent charm touching people worldwide. Despite his growing fame, Mark and Rebecca stayed grounded. They wanted Ethan to have a normal childhood, filled with love and fun. They kept him away from the spotlight, letting him be a playful child, unaware of his fame. Their main goal was his happiness, and his laughter was their greatest joy. Ethan was making a difference in many lives, but to Mark and Rebecca, he was still their little boy with his bright green eyes showing his unique personality. They knew there was plenty of time for him to grow up, so for now, they cherished their moments with him, enjoying his infectious laughter and unconditional love. I hope you like this story. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.